No, I'm the only Canadian on the team. There's another Canadian I know from Alberta that's down in Colorado at one of those schools, but I'm the only Canadian on the team, so it definitely makes me a little bit of an outcast. Cause
not really, you know, because we're all very similar, right? As long as you have the same things in common,
yeah.
And what you're doing, obviously.
Yeah, they do bug me about the like A-Bud and the certain like little Canadian jokes come out a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Hello, I'm John Brink, and we are podcasting on the Brink from downtown Prince George, British Columbia. And for all those people watching us from around the world, British Columbia is obviously Canada, one of the most beautiful provinces in Canada, on the western side of Canada, and Prince George is about 500 miles or 800 kilometers north of Vancouver. It's the center of British Columbia. It's a big province. Today, a very special day, because we got two ladies, two sisters in fact, that I've known the family for a long time. I've interviewed them before, and they are, when I initially interviewed them, they were young, but they were particular and involved in, and we'll talk about that a little bit, in horse racing of some sort. And today, quite a number of years later, we have Fallon and Nevada Jones. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So, when is the last time we met, you think? It was about 4 years, 3 years ago?
3 or 4 years.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's been quite a few.
And so you were quite actively already competing in the province and outside of the province. And what exactly were you doing with horses?
I think then I was mostly team roping and breakaway roping in BC and Alberta, competing in some bigger events.
Right. And then since that time?
Since that time, I've gone to the States a couple times and been competing across BC and Alberta still, but now I'm currently living in southern Idaho in Twin Falls, and I'm on a college team.
Oh, so my.
I'm competing in the college rodeo, so down there.
Is that big?
Our region is not one of the biggest ones, but it's definitely a lot bigger. So we travel across Idaho, Utah, and Colorado, our region. So I'm in the Rocky Mountain region down there. So.
Right. So how long have you been there, Fallon?
I got there in mid-August when the semester started down there. So and I just got back this week from down there. So
all of a sudden you're gone from Prince George.
Yeah.
It's a whole different world out there.
Yeah,
huh?
it's a lot different down there. I really enjoy being down there. I like it. So I'm on a team now, so it's not just me and my family practicing. I'm on a team. There's 28 of us, boys and girls.
Wow.
So there's 8 girls, and so we practice 4 days a week down there, and then the other 3 we're going to rodeos and traveling.
How about the horses? Do you have a new horse there then?
No. So I hauled 2 of my horses from PG down there, and so we actually have a really nice facility. We have an outdoor arena, and then we have a big indoor where we practice. And then on the other side of the indoor, there's all brand new stalls made up.
Wow.
So each of our horses gets a stalls. So quite a few of us brought out horses down there.
So so what are you taking in the college there?
Currently I'm going to minor in STEM and then move that into health science and exercise.
Okay.
To put it into a master's in athletic training.
So your objective is to get a master's in
athletic training.
Athletic training.
Yeah.
So that is right across the board then, not a particular sport, or?
No, it's kind of straight across the board, and then after that I can go work with a team. It's kind of more, athletic training is kind of like you go work for a college or you go work with a specific team and go work for their athletes.
So did you get a college, how do you call it, because of your horses that...
For a scholarship?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah,
scholarship.
So I got a rodeo scholarship from a coach, and from the school they get put in, so it pays for my tuition to go down there and to keep my horses down there and compete on the team.
Wow. What an experience, eh?
So yeah, it's it's very different. I find going from here, going to everything I know and having specific lists and stuff I do and just kind of being in my own world, to now I went down there where I didn't know anybody and I was completely in a new place. So it was definitely a learning curve of having to figure out how to do everything myself and figure out, find my teammates and find friends and everything to be able to compete with them.
But you made out okay. Obviously, you very much enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's very supportive because you're all doing the same thing, right? So
yeah, our team's really good. We all really put each other up. Like, there's some days we do rough stuff practices and some days we do timed event. Well, everyone shows up on every day and we all help out, not depending on like which event it is. We all show up to help. So that's really nice. And our coach is very pushed. Like on Mondays we have a team meeting and we always do motivational Monday, and he kind of gave us a talk. It was like, how do we speak to all our teammates and what we say and how we say it affects our mental mindset and how we compete. So our team there's a lot of mental mindset in our team, which I quite enjoy, and I feel like it's changed a lot of us there, especially me, and how I view me competing.
Anybody from Canada other than you?
No, I'm the only Canadian on the team. There's another Canadian I know from Alberta that's down in Colorado at one of those schools, but I'm the only Canadian on the team, so it definitely makes me a little bit of an outcast. Not
really, because we're all very similar, right? As long as you have the same things in common, and what you're doing, obviously. Yeah,
they do bug me about the like A-Bud and the certain like little Canadian jokes come out a lot.
Yeah. So but what an experience for you at your age, being all on your own more or less, but in a very supportive environment. So yeah. Nevada, how about you? So what are you up to these days? You're still very involved in horses?
Yes, I've been rodeoing all fall in high school rodeo, and I just finished high school rodeo, so I'm going to practice during the winter and get ready for the next season to come.
So you're kind of following in a way what Nevada was doing in the same area?
Yeah, I want to attend post-secondary and hopefully rodeo in the U.S.
Yeah, well, you've been there where Fallon is in the school or in that community, or?
Yes, I visited her when she went down there after a little bit when we went up to a competition in the U.S. and it's a great facility. And
you like it, eh? Yeah. So the other thing that you do, you're also in other sports, right?
Yes.
So tell us about that.
So I'm competing in judo still.
Judo. So now I already told you I was in Holland. I trained in judo when I was before I went into the Dutch Air Force, probably from 12 to about 16, 17. And you're a brown belt, so I'm a brown belt. It kind of stopped there, So, but it's a very good sport. And did you start here in Prince George with judo?
Yeah, I've been at the same judo club since I was about 5 years old.
Which one?
The Prince George Judo Club.
So where do they meet? On 3rd, 4th Avenue? And I know the one judo club, I've been there several times actually, supporting some of the ones that were traveling to different parts to compete.
Yeah, that's my club down. Can't really remember what
it's on 4th Avenue.
On 4th Avenue.
Yeah, 4th Avenue. Amazing facility, big facility, very popular.
Yeah, it's a great facility to train at.
Yeah, so you're still being active, but not only are you active there, you're also competing provincially?
Provincially and nationally.
So nationally, were you competing where?
So I've competed in places like Ontario and Quebec and Saskatchewan.
A lot of traveling, huh?
Yeah, there's a lot of traveling to it.
So you go then with the group, or how does that kind of work? And you stay there then for some time, or?
So we'll travel as a team from my judo club, and then we'll meet up with the rest of the competitors from Team BC.
Yeah.
And usually travel there.
So you have to compete first in Team BC. So you have competitions in BC.
So there's provincial competitions in BC.
Right.
And there's also bigger competitions that are hosted by Judo Canada that Team BC travels to. And
so you have to qualify then in your category?
No, I don't really know how to explain it. There's more provincial tournaments, and then there's bigger tournaments for older competitive athletes.
Okay, so by age, more or less, by weight to a certain extent, or is it mainly age classes?
It's mostly age classes.
Right. And then, so now you're brown belt, so, you know, so white, yellow, green.
Blue.
Blue.
And brown.
Brown. And then black. So you're working towards your black. So, so you do a lot of training, and obviously you've been doing this for the last 7 or 8 years, right? So
probably
no longer than that, because you started. So
probably 10 or 11 years.
It's always since you were 5, right?
Yes.
So so it's a very good sport, isn't it? Eh? You know, I like it. Keeps you fit and healthy. So you go train there once a week, or a couple of times a week, or
3 or 4 times a week.
Or that often, eh? So wow. And then so between that and horses, you staying fit and healthy, and then you're still going to school?
Yeah.
So what grade are you in?
I'm in grade 10.
Grade 10. So you got a couple of more to go, and then on and forward, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what do you think about in terms of a career?
I'm not very sure about what I want to do yet. I still have a couple more years until post-secondary to figure it out.
Yeah. But you like, you know, being involved and staying fit and healthy and doing all those kind of things, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I give quite a few presentations to young people at different schools. What school do you go to?
Prince George Secondary.
Prince George Secondary, that's the big school, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know if I did presentation. I've been at Dutchess Park and those kind of places. And, you know, so a lot of times with students, I'm going to give you one of my books here that before you go, is, you know, we talk about, you know, how do I decide, so I ask them a lot of times, what do you think in terms of a career? And they say, well, I don't know, you know, so I'm going to go to school, and then from there, and then, you know, so I always say, you know, find something that you like to do, like what you're doing now. Obviously, you've been involved, like Fallon is, and yourself being involved with horses, and then the other ones is in terms of sports, and fitness and health is part of your life. And so I wrote a book about, I always say, when I was young, I always wanted to go into lumber, because my grandfather was a master carpenter, and then my dad was managing a little lumber company. I wanted to build my own lumber company. So, and that became my passion. So the book's title is Finding Your Passion, Living the Dream. And the reason for it is that so many people that made choices in terms of jobs, and then they do the job for a period of time, and they say, I really don't like my job. I say, change. Because if you don't like your job, then you're not going to be very happy. So find something you like to do, or develop hobbies that you like to do. And I think that's very important in life. So and so that's what I do, is I obviously like lumber, and then do a number of other, I write books, and then I'm a speaker, and then I'm podcasting a lot, and you know, and I enjoy that, doing those kind of things. So tell me a little bit more, Fallon, about What city was it in again?
Twin Falls in Idaho.
So where is that? Idaho is a beautiful state.
So it's on like the very, very bottom part of Idaho. It's kind of like the central bottom southern part of Idaho.
Okay. And the capital of Idaho is?
I think it's Boise.
Boise, Idaho.
I probably said that wrong. If you're from Idaho, there's a certain way to say Boise. It's Boise or Boise.
Yeah.
Like there's certain ways that I always say it wrong.
Yeah, that's okay. So
I'll get made fun of that when I get back down there.
Yeah. But it's a nice area, and
Twin's very clean. It's very green. So it's right beside the Snake Canyon River. So there's a whole canyon there, and it's very nice to go down there. And I go on the hiking paths down there a lot. I kind of explored that a lot, but Twin's very green and like water everywhere, and it's a really nice town.
How many students in the college that you had there?
Oh, I'm not sure. I would honestly say quite a few. It's pretty big. They just built a new health science building, and they added a bunch of like nursing and dentists and a bunch of other programs there. And then they have all of their trades. They have quite a few trades. Most of the kids in our boys are in the trades buildings.
Yeah. Is it called the college, or is
it's College of Southern Idaho?
College of Southern Idaho, yeah. And then then do you stay there on campus?
So I live on campus in the dorms, which is nice.
It's perfect, right?
Yeah, so I can actually go from my dorms right over, so in the mornings I'll run over to go for a jog in the morning, run over to my horses, kind of go around the block, and then we'll go to the gym for our workouts.
And your horses are right there?
Yeah, they're right beside. So it's kind of like a 2-mile jog in the mornings for me when I go from the dorms to my horses to the gym for workouts in the morning.
Perfect, yeah.
So it's really nice that way. And then all my classes are like a 15-minute walk across campus at the most.
Perfect.
So it's really nice having them all right there. And then I like having my horses there so I can go straight over to practices at night instead of having to drive around town. It's good that way.
So how long is the that you have to go to the college?
So I'm going to be down there in 2 years to get a 2-year degree, and then I'll switch over to university.
And where is the university?
I haven't decided yet. I didn't think I'd end up in Idaho. Well, I thought I was going to end up at an Idaho university, but now that I'm already in Idaho, I think I'm going to go somewhere outside of Idaho just to move around to different parts of the country down there and get a different view.
You think the States then?
Yeah, I'll stay down in the States, but I'm not sure what part yet.
No. And because horses will become still a part of your life, right? Mm-hmm. So you will probably again get a scholarship.
Yeah, hopefully I'll probably keep pushing towards getting a scholarship and still being on a rodeo team when I go to a university. And
so there are other universities in other states.
Mm-hmm. There's quite a few. It's actually the National College Rodeo Association has grown a lot, so it's all the way from Washington down to Texas and Oklahoma, so it's everywhere now, and there's lots of coaches.
Amazing, eh? Mm-hmm. So and then it gives you a lot of exposure to making the right choices.
Yeah.
So you say 2-year college, then you have a degree of some sort?
Yeah, I'll have a minor in STEM. I'll have a 2-year minor in STEM, and then I'll just switch.
How do you call that, STEM?
STEM. So it's science, engineering, technology, and mathematics.
Okay. So that's good. Mm-hmm. That's a good base, right?
Yeah,
to work from.
And if I get that, I can put it any direction. If I choose not to go into the health science, I can put it towards engineering or something else if I want. Yeah, so it's really nice because it's very broad. Yeah. Instead of just going into health sciences right away there at this school, I could have done that. Yeah. But I just chose to go to STEM because it's a lot more broader where I could take it.
Gives you more flexibility.
Yeah.
And then kind of looking ahead and trying to get another scholarship, it sets you up for whatever the university has to offer in terms of your education, as well as the program with the horses, obviously. And then horses are always delicate. We have horses, both myself and my wife ride English dressage, and we got 6 horses. And we have been into horses for a long time. We have on Vancouver Island in North Saanich, we have a place. I usually go to weekends to North Saanich, and we have a 50-acre farm there. Have you been in Victoria?
No, I haven't been on the island. I know she's been down there a couple areas.
I've been down there for judo competitions.
Okay, where?
I've been kind of all over the island. I've been to Victoria a couple times.
Yeah, so you usually go with the ferry?
Yes.
Yeah, you should go with the ferry from, from the mainland to the island, Victoria. Then it's on North Sand, it's where you stop, and we are within 5 minutes of that. Then it's another 28 minutes to half an hour to Victoria. And that's really, but we have a place, the farm is there, the 50-acre farm, and then our house is there. So I fly into Victoria and then spend the weekends there, and so we're building an arena, a riding arena, and so horses have always been part of my life, because when I grew up in Holland, a lot of my families were farmers, and my sisters both were riding English dressage in Holland, so which is somewhat different than what you do.
Yeah, a little bit different.
Yeah. Yours is, I'm not sure if I could do that, but in any event, but having horses in my life has always been very important, but horses are delicate.
Yeah, they're very delicate. Yeah, when we drove back, I wasn't planning on coming back for Christmas this year, just because I had 2 horses down in Idaho.
Yeah.
So, but I'm very thankful. I had one of my teammates' families took me in this last couple of months, and we've been hanging around her house, and they have horses, so they let me drop my horses off there for Christmas, and they'll spend 3 weeks there.
Yeah, so I was wondering about that, because obviously they are part of your life, right? So
yeah, I was not leaving them unless I trusted someone very much to take care of them, and that family was very nice. They've been feeding me. They took me in over Thanksgiving. I spent a week at their house for Thanksgiving.
Beautiful, eh?
They're amazing people, and then their daughter Charlie is my traveling partner, and so it's me and her get along very, very well. We have the same mindsets. We kind of do the same thing. We're kind of creatures of habit. Like for rodeos in the morning, we'll get up. It's like 7 o'clock. We get up, go feed horses, go back, eat some breakfast. Then we go get dressed. And then we go back and get ready for the rodeo. So
see, the beauty of it is that that having horses, and I know a lot of people, young people in particular, that have horses. It makes that commitment to. That means you have to get up early and take care of the horses, do the mucking and all the other kind of things that go with it, and it's all part of having horses. But it's fun, because they are beautiful, beautiful animals, and
I quite enjoy them. So.
But you develop that relationship, because we even got it sometimes. We want to go away, but we have to make absolutely sure we have the staff that kind of takes care of the horses.
Yeah, and that's one good thing about Idaho. I found that a lot of people I've made friends with, they grew up on farms, or they have horses or animals themselves. So it's very easy to find someone to look after our horses, because I know for the first couple rodeos, there's quite a few of us that only took 1 or 2 horses, so we just left the rest there, and we all kind of found someone to take our horses that we trusted, and it was really good.
Yeah. So now you're gonna be here till
the 3rd of January. So
so on Wednesday the 3rd you go back to Idaho.
Yeah, I'm gonna fly back down there and go see my horses and stay with them.
Yeah. So, oh my God.
Just a short trip home.
Well, I'm sure it's nice for the family.
Yeah,
for having you back here, and
it was hard being away for so long, and then just kind of up and moving my life to another country. So.
Have you? That was probably the biggest step you ever took, right?
It definitely, for me, I found it took, it was a lot of finding myself, I found, and I kind of got into the whole mental part of it, and kind of started listening to some people and podcasts I got into. So it was a lot of finding myself and finding what works for me, and having to make it through those changes.
And you feel you did well?
Yeah, I feel like I've done good so far, but even I feel like I didn't have the best season for college.
Right.
So there's some things I'm going to tweak for my practice in the spring and how I'm going to manage myself.
Yeah.
So it just takes a lot of developing. It's kind of developing your habits and your schedule, I found.
It's a very big step, Fallon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because as long as you've been I know your family, you're very close. Right. And, you know, and all of a sudden being in,
Yeah.
not only in the town next door, but all the way in the
Yeah.
States, and you know, so, but what an experience. Yeah, I know it from myself because I was 18 when I was drafted into the Air Force. That was mandatory in Holland. You know, not anymore now. The draft was not there, but especially at the time that you know, you're 17, 18, and then, at least for a guy, you kind of thought you know it all, and then you go into the Air Force, and then they put you in base training into a camp and then to a big room with 40 other guys that think they know it all too. And then you have the beds being stacked too high, and you get up at 4:30 in the morning, and so it's a whole new world.
Yeah, and I actually didn't do bad for like the first month. I felt good, but after that I kind of like felt lost. I felt like I didn't know, like I didn't have a set in stone schedule, like, oh, I go to school this time in the morning. My schedule is some days I went to school in the mornings and then I had the rest of the day off, or some days I only go to school in the afternoons. So college classes, to me, I struggled with that. It just kind of gave me a lot of free time, and I did the stuff I needed to, but then I had so much free time left that just made me feel lost.
Was that by choice that you had so much time off? Or?
No, it's just kind of when all my classes lined up, the ones I needed.
Yeah.
And then I just had a bunch of free time because there's no classes during those times.
Could you then spend that with your horses and ride, or?
Yeah, I'd usually go and lope my horses out, but then when we practice all night, like in the afternoons or in the mornings, I don't like to ride, because if we're going to ride them all night, it's hard to ride them twice in the day.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard on them.
Yeah.
But some mornings I'll just go over to the arena and turn them out in the outdoor pen and just let them run around, and while I do homework, and I'll just sit on the little fence there that do homework. So I kind of pitter patter.
So you found a routine now in the school, and now looking forward, you know, for next year, you probably organize that a bit better. So
a little bit more. I get a new class schedule, so and I have a couple more classes that I have some labs, so those take a longer time.
Right.
So I don't have as much free time.
Right.
And then we don't actually start practicing until the end of February, just because we have some fundraisers going on in our arena right now, so we'll be busy with those.
Right.
But it's still, there's a lot of free time after classes at night.
But you climatized a lot more. You have more friends there now.
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of comfortable with your horses there, and
it's kind of like before you didn't know anybody, so then you weren't sure. But now I have a couple friends, and you kind of go hang out with them, and like there's Thursday nights we all go and hang out, and we go line dancing, a bunch of us. So it's kind of you kind of get in a routine with your friends, and makes it a lot enjoyable.
Yeah. So with me, what happened is that so I was in the Air Force for 30 months. It was a good experience. Kind of tough to start a boot camp for 6 months, and then all of a sudden I had all kinds of guns that I was shooting because it's all part of being in the Air Force. And I was Air Force Police and Special Forces. And then I went back to work, and then I wanted to go to Canada because we were liberated by the Canadian Army during the Second World War, April the 12th, 1945. And I was so impressed by the Canadians that liberated us that I always knew I would go to the land of my heroes. And it took me till I was 23, and then I wanted to start with nothing, but I wanted to build a lumber mill. So, you know, by the time I had one suitcase, I had 3 books and 2 sets of clothes. And then I knew I wanted to go to BC because that's where all the timber is, right? And then I landed in Vancouver, went through the immigration department, but I couldn't speak the language. Didn't speak the language, didn't know anybody, and didn't have a job. And went through the immigration department. I told them what I wanted to do. There was a German fellow there, and I could speak some German. And he said, "Go to Prince George. Is the boomtown." That was in 1965, nearly 60 years ago. And so when I came off the bus here, I had my suitcase and 2 sets of clothes, and then I only took $150 with me because I wanted to start with nothing. And then when I came out the past year, I had $25.47. I didn't have a job, couldn't speak language, didn't know so. And it started as a cleanup man, and then from there on in, worked hard. It's a whole different as you have. For me, it was, there were no cell phones then. You had to send telegrams like, you know, hope you're doing well, I'm okay, stop, and you know, I got a job here, and I'm making $2 an hour. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
And so that kind of stuff. But now it obviously is different. That I can have my cell phone, pick up the cell phone. Within seconds, I speak to somebody in Holland. But that was not so then. And then, you know, I found a job as cleanup man, and then it's the land of opportunity. Canada is just amazing, and if you work hard, and you know, then gradually did a little bit better and got a job, cleanup man, lumber pilot, and then you know, and then 10 years later started the lumber company. I still have one now, 50 years later. So, and I'm 83 years young. That's important, right? So,
yeah, yeah, definitely.
I'm going to be 120. So I still work hard. I go to the gym. I'm not doing judo anymore, but judo is a fantastic. I could still go. I've been there a couple of times, and they know that in the school that you go to, and I did judo with somebody there, just a couple of throws, and so you know, there is no limitation to age for judo. It's good, but I decided, you know, but it's very important. This diet is very important.
Yeah.
Eat healthy, mentally be positive, and then for a guy my age, but it's important your age as well, at any age really, is to stay fit. So I go to the gym, and you know, and I went to the gym, you know, probably when I was in my late 60s, and kind of trying to stay fit, and you know, and then got a trainer that I worked with, and then after 6 or 7 years, he said to me, "Have you ever thought about competing?" I said, "Me?" You know, and then I thought, well, why not? You know, I started competing, and so bodybuilding and physique, and I competed here in northern BC, and then came in second bodybuilding, third in physique, qualified me for the provincials, competed there, then came in second on physique, third in bodybuilding. That allowed me to compete nationally and on the Arnolds. And so then COVID came, and now I'm trying to compete again. I think I'm the oldest competitive bodybuilder in North America.
That's pretty cool.
At 83.
Yeah, so that reminds me, so one of our coaches, Kelly, he did MMA fighting into his 60s.
Wow.
So he's pretty like buff guy, he's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So he's our coach for the gym, so we work out with him twice a week, and then a couple of our kids go in, so we have a boxing smoker fundraiser, so a bunch of our kids are getting ready to start boxing, so I've been starting to train with them and practice and helping them out. For them to compete. So Kelly's been teaching us all these moves and how to do it. So he's a pretty cool guy, and he's definitely older, but he is a cool guy. So we're pretty lucky to have him as our coach in the gym. So.
And especially somebody that has been actively involved, right?
Well, and he used to bareback ride, so he knows.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, so he knows both sides of the arena.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool that all of our workouts are specifically made for rodeo athletes.
Yeah.
They're not just strength athletes like the softball players and baseball players do in our school.
And that is perfect, right? For
Which
you.
is really nice for us, so that we're like working on our strength and our core, so we can stand up and rope strong, or the boys are working on their arms and certain or we're working on our balance, and he has certain activities and what we do for that. So it's really cool to have a coach that has been in the fighting world, in the workout world, and also been in the rodeo world. So now we get all of our workouts are specifically for us.
And so, but it's critical to be fit at all times, right? So and if you can combine it with the sports that you like to do, you know, then as opportunities for a career as well. And like for you, for both of you, once you have had horses in your life, they probably will always be a part of your life at some point or another. And to get a career built around it, even much better, right?
Yeah.
Is it also competitive, the sport now, more so than it used to be?
Oh, for sure. So everything's getting more competitive. There's more junior events, more novice. Like there's so many more events going on, especially in Canada and in the States.
Yeah.
But for us, for one of our events we compete in is the breakaway roping, and the breakaway roping is just blown up since 2020.
So what is that again?
So breakaway roping is where you come out of the right side of the box and you rope a calf around the head, and it just breaks off from your horn by a nylon string. It's just tied on with. Okay. And it'll just break off, and when it breaks off, the time will stop.
Okay, so what I remember is that they have this rope and they get it around, they jump off the horse and they man.
No, so we don't have to jump off the horse.
I said, okay.
Yeah, that's tie down rope, but that's a little more the boys' end of the world.
Yeah.
No, we just have to rope the calf and stop our horse and let a string break off our horn.
So it breaks off then?
It breaks off. It's just tied on with a nylon string.
Yeah, see, the most important part of all of that, in my opinion, is to catch the calf or whatever it is, and then if it breaks off, to manhandle is not necessary for me, you know. So
so it's a very fast event. So there's girls that are going 1.6, 1.7, 1.9s are becoming a lot bigger now, and low 2s. So it's just becoming it's a very fast sport. It's developing a lot now across all the states. So they just the last couple of years they've added it as a national final breakaway roping. So there's top 15 girls go to a 10-day round in Vegas. So they've added that, and then it just kind of blown up. So amateur rodeos and pro rodeos have added pro breakaway roping. So there's a lot more opportunity to go. It isn't like you just after college there's no more a breakaway roping. Now it's everywhere. So there's a lot more opportunity for us to go. So it's, and with it adding to so many events, there's so many more people competing that it's not like you just got to rope good. Now it's you got to have the horse, you got to have the support, you got to be like, a lot of the pro girls are saying like your mental mindset is your biggest thing for breakaway roping. If you're gonna go, you need to be in your best shape of your life, physically and mentally. Yeah. So in college and just high school now, that's kind of with it being so big, you got to start working at that now for us. And so you're kind of ahead when you go to those bigger events. Yeah,
I like what you're saying, because now I have to show you my thing again here. So the 2547, now you know what I had in my pocket when I came here, right?
Yeah.
So but what is even more important is that what I believe what makes an individual successful, no matter what you do, is in all the things that you do, attitude is to me extremely important. I always look at, if it is a tough day today, I'll swear it's a better day tomorrow. No question in my mind. I avoid negative. If people are negative, I don't want to be around them. The other one is passion. Find something that you love to do, whatever that may be, and then give it all that you got. Do it with passion, right? And then work ethic is that the harder you work, and I work harder than anybody. That's what I do, and but will follow no matter what it is success.
So I'm going to add on to it. So the girl that just won the National Final Breakaway Roping, she's a Canadian from Alberta. So Shelby Bourgeois. She's a Canadian that just won it, and she said when she won it, her thing was, you gotta love it. If you don't love the sport, there's no point in doing it. Because if you love it, you're gonna work for it, you're gonna have the passion, and you're gonna have the attitude to do it. So if you don't love it, then there's no point in doing that.
No.
And that's like, that kind of made me think about, I love this sport, so what am I gonna do so I can keep doing it and become better at it? So the way she spoke is pretty cool for breakaway ropers to hear that.
Yeah, no question. And then also attitude. And staying positive, you know, so, and then the other part that I find, you know, especially when I talk to young people, is that I believe it is, sometimes we are very critical of ourselves. We don't like this about ourselves, we don't like that, and all the other things. Always stay positive, and every individual is unique in who they are, because there's nobody on earth similar to what you are, and everybody is beautiful in what they are. That's who they are, and stay fit and healthy. And the other part of that is fitness and health together with mental stability is extremely important.
And that mental state, especially for rodeo athletes, I know there's a lot of sports, you're on a team with 20 kids or people, and you have someone that works with your team. But for us, we don't. We have to go out and find those support ourselves, or for our instance, our parents are our biggest support. So they keep pushing us. They help us with our mental states. So our dad, he actually has this rule, the 5-minute rule he got from Joe Beaver. So if you come out of the arena, it doesn't matter if that was the best run of your life and you just won the world, or is the worst run of your life. You got 5 minutes to talk about it, say what you did wrong, figure it out. After those 5 minutes, it's over. It's in the past. You don't, no more thinking about it. You only think about your next wrong.
Go forward.
Yeah, you go forward. What you're thinking about is all on what you're going to do now, what you got to work on.
Yeah.
What's your next run going to be? There's no more of the past. It's his 5-minute rule. He's like, hey, you got 5 minutes. Let's hear it. Let's talk about this. And he'll be like, hey, we're over. We're on the future now.
Yeah.
So it's definitely that mental state for us is a big thing. And for me going to college and not having those people right beside me, you have to find your own support down there. So a couple of my teammates, we got really supportive of each other, but I know it's myself now. I'm on my own on it, that now I have to think about it. Like, what am I going to do? When am I going to the gym? Like, I got to get out of bed today. What's the plan? Like, I got to watch what I eat, because it's pretty hard as a college kid to make sure you're eating healthy, your diet's good, you're going to the gym, you're not partying all the time. So it's definitely, I find for me that I'm very dedicated and I have put the time in, and I go to the gym outside of just our workouts. I do watch my weight, watch what I eat, making sure I'm getting all the food categories and just doing certain things that make me happy and make my mental state better.
Yeah.
So instead of doing the normal college things, so I'm a little different that way. I'm not in on the college. I'm not the normal college kid. Most people tell me, they're like, you're not the simple college kid where it just goes the one way. You party, you hang out with all your friends. You're the exception.
Yeah. You know, it takes most young people much longer, including myself. But I always was committed and had discipline. But a lot of people, even not. You know, especially not young people, they don't. And so the other thing that I'm going to do, I don't see it here. I had another book that I wrote. Oh, it is. Did they give you one?
Yeah, we have those ones.
I signed it too, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, and then I did another one that, I'm ADHD. So, and so I failed grade 3 and I failed grade 7 3 times. And then they said, what are we going to do with this guy in Holland? And so we sent him to the mentally challenged school. My parents were beautiful people, and they said, no, what he should do at 14, we'll get him to develop a trade. So I became a furniture maker. But I never kind of felt good about myself. I always thought that usually I was optimistic, but still deep down, all those fellas that I went to school with, they all went to college or to university, and they kind of looked down on me in a way because I became a laborer. I'm proud of that today, but then it was not overly popular. And then it took a long time, you know, that till I was in Canada already, and here in BC, and I was already successful in building a lumber mill and doing all the other things, and people would say to me, oh, you're so successful, and I didn't feel that way, you know. And then it took 32 years when in 1997, and I was then already 78 years old, or 68 years old, that I found in a store a book, and it was, the book's title was different to Distraction. It was about ADHD. I'd never even heard about ADHD. And so I bought the book, and I wrote in the book, now I finally know who I am. And ADHD, I don't know how familiar you are with it, but you know, the problem that I had is attention issues, that I was not very good in school and sitting there and listening to all the things that I was not interested in. And so I didn't pay much attention to it. And so hence I failed grade 3 and I failed grade 7 3 times. But then I felt I had to be more vocal about it, and then at some point write a book about it. So that's what I did. ADHD unlocked. I call it a superpower. And so now today, you know, I have, and I'm not bragging here, but you know, as you know from the other book, is that I have probably 7, 8, 9, 10 different companies. Then I'm an author, and then I'm a public speaker, and then you know, I'm probably one of the most active podcasters. You know, this is one nearly before the new year we'll have done 200 podcasts. And so that makes us one of the most active podcasters in Canada, and a lot of our podcasting go around the world. It's an amazing media, how much popular it is becoming, because if you and me are sitting here having this discussion, which is amazing because I've known you already for so long, and your stories, both of yours, are so interesting, is that it's an inspiration for others. But this is not just a few people watching us in around Prince George. It goes around the globe. And that is the power of podcasting now, is that different topics are being discussed where all of a sudden people, as you earlier said, I believe, that so many people, or your mom maybe said that, so many people now are saying, oh, I'm a welder, or I'm doing this, I drive a truck, and I'm always listening to podcasting.
Yeah, that's definitely, in our truck, we're podcasts. Me and Charlie, we listen to podcasts all the time.
So you could have tens of thousands of people watching us having interaction here, talking about you know, all the things that are important to us, and it's an inspiration for others. I'm going to sign a copy of this one, and also one of these other ones, finding your passion just for your interest. And you know, so anything else that comes to mind? How about Nevada? Tell us a little bit about you know, what you've been up to, and you know, and obviously with your sister now, she was so close to you, and you guys were so close together. You're kind of adjusting to the changes in the family, and you're still very active, obviously, with horses and then judo.
It's been difficult with her gone, because you have this person that you're with so much of your time.
Yeah.
And you kind of make a routine of like who does what, like who feeds the horses when I go to judo practices.
Yeah.
And it's just a big adjustment.
Yeah. But
So.
you're doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing.
Yeah.
No, when I get a phone call, where's this stuff? Where's this? How do I do this? I'm in another country. I can't help you out right this second. Go find Steve, our other rodeo dad. I always call him like, Nevada needs help. So, yeah, it was definitely a learning curve for both of us, and adjustments. But we kind of found certain people that helped us through it, so that was good for us.
Yeah. Excellent, guys. So again, after 3 or 4 years ago that I interviewed you, so we should stay in touch. I'm gonna keep watching you and stay in touch with your family. And so before we go, I'll sign a couple of these books for you, and you know, and then I should just take a picture of. This is the roping.
Yeah, that's the breakaway roping.
That is you, I think. Which camera should I point it at? This one here. And so this is a picture of Fallon roping.
Yeah. We'll probably get you some updated ones pretty quick. Ones from the last year or two, or 4 years ago. Yeah, that was when I was in, I think, 7th or 8th grade.
I think 8th.
Yeah,
very
eighth
amazing
grade.
though, you know.
Yeah.
So tell me about Vegas.
So, 2 weeks ago now, me and Fallon went down to Las Vegas to compete at Mike and Sherilyn Johnson's Vegas Toughest World Championship in the breakaway roping.
And how did it go?
The first round for both of us wasn't too good, and the second round we both drew a very, very fast calves, but we got them roped.
Very good.
Yeah, it was good though. It's good to go to a bigger event, so it opens your eyes to the bigger atmosphere and the more competitors and the harder competition it gets to be. So it's definitely a learning curve, but it's a very good experience for us both to go forward.
Really, going to Vegas, you know, and it was 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I was about 2 weeks ago now we were down there.
Yeah, unbelievable. Thanks, guys, for being my guest on my podcast. We'll stay in touch, and I'll make sure that before you go, we'll do this. And then once we have our things removed, I'll give you both a hug. You know, so thank you for being my guest.